All right, today I want to talk about 5 multi-tools from Leatherman that may or may not be discontinued in the near future. And I think it's worth bringing up because these are sometimes fan favorites. And if you want a second one, might be a good time. So let's dive right in, shall we? Starting with what I talked about a few days ago during the State of the Multiverse video. And that is that Leatherman has increased the price of their multi-tools by at least $10 and as much as $20. In the case of the Leatherman Surge, it has gone from $120 to $140. The same thing with the Charge Plus and the Charge TTI. Well, we'll get into that in just a minute. Everything else has received at least a $10 increase. So even the Bond, which was $50, is now $60. So very interesting because they didn't say anything about it, like not at all. And technically they don't have to, but it's usually a good idea to talk about that and explain yourself. And I bring this up because the truth is, it makes sense why they are increasing the prices. Raw material costs are through the roof. In some cases, they are 100% higher than they were. So I completely get it. I just think because their consumer base is so attached to the brand that it might be worth talking with them so that they feel like they're supporting the company and so on. I don't know. But anyway, I let people know. Some interesting reactions came out of that. But in the process of looking up the pricing, I discovered something else. And it's a trend that's a little concerning. And it's concerning because one of these 5 tools I feel very confident at this point saying is truly discontinued. So let's get that out of the way, shall we? The Leatherman Crunch, rest in peace, will not be returning to Leatherman. Now they have said that no, we're just out of stock. Now they have been out of stock for over 10 months. Now when I say they have said this, I'm talking about a single comment on a single YouTube video. That's the extent of any information we have directly from Leatherman where they have made a statement about this tool. However, since that video that was posted by my friend Ben, I have contacted multiple distributors of the tool. And as of the last couple of months, the kinds of responses I'm getting are like this. We have been contacted by the supplier, which is Leatherman, and they have informed us that they are discontinuing this model. And now I have had 2 emails from 2 different companies, Grainger and Andorama, that both say this. And if you combine that with the fact that people who actually work for Leatherman are saying that the infrastructure in the facility is being removed, I think it's safe to call it. I love the Crunch. I wish it wasn't gone, but rest in peace. Now, if for some miracle I'm wrong, and God, I hope I am, but I'm pretty sure I'm not, I will buy one from Leatherman on stream, and I will send it directly to somebody which will pick during that stream as a celebration and an apology. But that's not going to happen. Now, there are 4 other tools I'd like to discuss today. And the reason I want to discuss them is because if they do what they did with the Crunch, where they just kind of quietly have it disappear, we're definitely seeing that trend now. And I didn't realize this because I talked about it a little bit during the video on the OHT. Now, during that time, one of the colors or 2 of the colors were out of stock. Now, if you go and you look, you will see that all OHTs are out of stock on Leatherman's website. And on top of that, there are 3 other tools, that are also in this situation. The other ones, the Leatherman MUT. We'll talk about this in a second. And we also have the Super Tool 300 EOD, which is out of stock. And this is the big one, the Charge TTI is out of stock. Now, what do all of these tools have in common? Well, they all have parts that are specific to those exact tools. And some have more than others. The Crunch and the OHT are almost completely just for that one tool. So you have to create an entire infrastructure just for that tool. So does it make sense from a financial standpoint, from a business standpoint, to discontinue these tools? Yes, of course it does. Especially as costs go up, you want to focus on spending it in places where you can sell the most product. Now, they haven't officially said anything about this, and we just started to see them completely out of stock on Leatherman's website. We'll see if we have the same duration, like we did on the Crunch, of this being out of stock. And I'm sure I will communicate also with the distributors and see if they are hearing anything about it as well. Now, the more surprising ones, well, okay, the EOD, that's also one of those things that we would expect. That plier head, for instance, is made out of the country, and it's only being used on the EOD and the MUT EOD. So that makes sense. And then let's move on to the MUT. Now the MUT has, I think, first of all, this tool is the pinnacle of multi-tool engineering. Overbuilt, complicated, beautifully engineered, like amazing, okay? Very, very cool tool. But the problem is it's expensive. It has a lot of proprietary parts to this tool. And frankly, not very popular. It's really not. Not very many people carry it. Now, the people who do really love it. It's like the Crunch. People really love this tool. So I think if you were thinking about getting another one of these specifically, you might want to pick one up in the near future. Because if it's gone, it's going to be very hard to find them, because the people who do like them, they really like them. I mean, like, really like them. And I don't blame them. This thing's amazing. Now, the EOD, I don't think there's a lot of people screaming about that one. But the Charge TTI, this one I didn't suspect could be something that could be discontinued. In fact, in the OHT video, I said this was a reason why this might not be discontinued, because why would they ever get rid of the Charge TTI? And then I realized something. That plier head, which has a crimper, is not used on any other tool except the Charge TTI. If you look at the new G10 models, which are still around and probably will still be very popular, those still have the S30V blade, but they use the same plier head as the Wave. So you don't have to get that part overseas or from somewhere else. And the titanium is a very hard material to work with, and the dust that it creates all kinds of problems that you have to manage. So you have to have a very specific place where you're working with titanium. So maybe those two things could combine to be worth getting rid of, or maybe the demand isn't good enough, especially if it's going up to $180. All that being speculative at this point. But you should be aware, these tools are currently out of stock on Leatherman's website. And I will, if they come back in stock, because I'll check from time to time, I will let you know, and that would be a very good sign. But as of right now, we're seeing it as these things are emptying stock on Leatherman's website. They're not replenishing them. From a business perspective, this makes a lot of sense. Get rid of the tools that are going to cost you the most because they have functions that are separate from your other ones, that don't interchange. That makes perfect sense. What doesn't make sense, to me at least, is saying nothing about it. So maybe they will, maybe they won't, and maybe these will come back in stock. But the Crunch, sadly, it's gone. Yeah. Now, I would love to eat my words right now. I would love to eat those words. I will put hot sauce on those words and I will eat them in front of you live. But it's just not going to happen, guys. I'm sorry. So anyway, that's it for tonight. Sorry for the bad news, but maybe this will be helpful to somebody who maybe was thinking about getting a replacement MUT, having a second one. Maybe you really love the OHT, and you could still find these because they weren't that popular, so you could still find them on eBay. Yeah. That's it for today.